Hello, Robert. Can you hear me? Good morning. Can anybody hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, I just want to make sure the microphone's working on this. Thank you.
Oh, that's right. Just have one more Commissioner's Court.
Okay, 10 o'clock.
Sorry.
Okay, please rise for pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Okay. Go to line item number 3, public testimony. Anybody not on the agenda may appear before the court at this time.
That'd be me. I would like to say something.
Go ahead, Noe.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that we all understood that we have procurement policies in the county. We're coming up with the ARPA funds. These are federal monies. We need to follow the proper procedure. And I think we went through that already in court as to get with Ms. Moran first before anything is done. And then it goes to the judge and to me. If something is not done properly, I'm not gonna sign it. These people are not gonna get paid. I'm not gonna put the county or myself in that predicament. So it will not be signed, will not be paid. Make sure you follow the procedure. This even goes with the counties, and we're gonna put it on the announcements. Yeah, because we've already gone over it in Commissioners Court. A couple of months ago, we went over the procedure for the ARPA money. We need for them to be followed. We need for them to be correct. When you go and buy something, we have our policies, which is the other policy. If you're gonna purchase a vehicle, go through buy board. If it's over 50, make sure that you get the proper bids in. Make sure that it's done correctly. Anything that's not done correctly, I'm not gonna sign. It will not be processed for payment. Just follow the procedure. It will solve a lot of problems. Don't go through an outside broker. Don't do anything like that. Follow buy board or go through the bidding process. It'll solve a lot of problems for us. And we're coming up to this monies. I want to make sure they're done correctly. Okay?
Okay, thank you,
And
Noe.
if you have any
Appreciate it.
questions, call us or call Ms. Moran or just get with us, okay?
Thank you, Noe.
Thank you, Noe.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Sheriff? No? Nobody. Okay, there's nobody else. Line item number 4, discuss and take action on minutes from previous meeting. Motion?
I make a
Motion to
motion.
approve.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Line item number 5, discuss, consider, take action on budget amendment request by Election Department Richard Garrett to transfer 4,700 from line item 12,490, 452.00 repair equipment to line item 12,490, 390.00 miscellaneous supply.
Commissioners Court, I've read the request and I approve the request with y'all.
I make a motion to approve item number 5 is presented.
There's a motion and a second. A second, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion passes. Line item 6, discuss, consider, take action, amendment request by County Commissioner Precinct 2, Ventura Garcia to transfer $1,000 from line item 622, 390.00 miscellaneous supply. $1,000 from line item 622, 452.00 repair motor vehicles, and $600 from line item 622, 486.75 truck hauling, and for a total of $2,600 from line item 622, 330.00 gas, oil, and lubricants.
Commissioners Court, I have read the request and I approve the request with y'all's consent.
Make a motion.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay, item number 7, discuss, consider, take action on authorization to issue requests for proposals for administrative services and requests for qualifications for engineering services related to the 2023-24 Colonia Fund construction administered by the Texas Department of Agriculture. Who's representing this one?
Oralia.
Good morning. This is Oralia. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So this is the process that is typically followed to hire a grant administrator and an engineering firm to develop the application and then manage the project once TDA makes a grant award to the county. It is competitive, and the maximum is $1 million. There is a match requirement based on the size of the county. And so by authorizing the RFP and the RFQ process, Jim Wells County is ready to proceed to advertise and go through that process. I can be happy to answer any questions.
You said there's a matching requirement?
We usually.
Yes, it is there.
And that's what I was gonna ask.
We usually do it in kind, yeah. I make a motion to approve. I'll second.
There's a motion, a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you. Line item number 8, discuss, consider, take action on budget amendment request by Commissioner Ventura Garcia to transfer $500 from line item 12, 673, 392.00 miscellaneous supply $200 from line item 12,673, 453.00, equipment repairs, maintenance, a total of $700 to line item 12,673, 330.00, gas, oil and lubricants.
I've looked at the request, Commissioners Court, and I approve of the request of the office.
Make a motion to accept item number 8 is presented.
I'll second it.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay, line item number 9, discuss, consider take action on requests by Justice of the Peace, number 1, that for additional staff for truancy caseload. I think we had this on the list agenda, so,
Judge Leon was on Zoom.
Yes, if you can have Robert, turn on my camera.
He turns it on. You need to turn it on.
Yeah, but it's telling me, yeah, there we go. Okay. Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing this morning, commissioners?
Good morning.
Okay, I believe, I'll have, the county attorney, start off. Michael, do you want to start off on this?
It's the same as what we went over at the last meeting. Because of Judge Bice retiring, the cases that belong to AISD are being moved from precinct 5 back over here. That's the majority of the cases that we have, of course, because Alice is the largest school district we have in the county. The Orange Grove cases will remain in precinct 5. We have a meeting with Judge Johnson this afternoon regarding Fremont. And of course, Ben Bolt will fall under the new judge, Cadena. So the numbers right now, Judge Bice, they're not gonna look like what they will be. And this is the reason why. There are 17 cases being transferred over right now. I think Science Elementary just filed, was it 10, Judge, last week?
Yes, on or about. Yes, sir.
Okay. And the districts, Alice district personnel says they can, like, if we give them the green light, they can go ahead and file, and they'll be well over 100, like by the end of the month. They've been holding back. And that's because Judge Bice had told them, don't file anything new after October 31st, because she didn't want to leave a bunch of cases behind, knowing that she was going to retire. So Alice has been holding back. We had a meeting with them last week. They assure us that they have plenty of cases ready to file. They're just waiting for the green light. So, and you heard Judge Bice at our last meeting say she feels, you know, the level of cases justifies of one full-time position. That's with respect to the JP. With the constable, I have visited with Cindy and Noe, and we're going to try another route, which is, if you will recall, in truancy cases, the judge can designate any adult to serve the papers. It does not have to go through the constable's office. So the plan is for the judge to designate one or more individuals to serve those documents, pay them a flat fee, rather than hiring somebody and having the additional expense of benefits and retirement and insurance and all that. We'll just kind of have it as a contract position and not burden Constable Martinez, you know, who's got a full plate as well. So that's kind of where we're at. We visited with the auditors about funding. We don't have anything funded in the 2023 budget, so it'll have to come out of the fund balance if you approve the one full-time position for JP1. Also, the auditor said they would not disturb the current positions that JP5 has. So she's got 2 full-time and 1 part-time, and those would remain.
Okay,
Well, if there's a need, I make a motion to approve.
yeah, but,
position?
well, that's what we
We
were,
just need to come up with a salary.
no, that's where we're here today, see if there's a need. And to me, you know, there's an option, you know, you can go to a full-time position, you know, make one of your part-timers full-time. Would be, to me, you know, truancy is not, it's not an everyday occurrence. I think, you you got two part-times and two full-times in that department. I think going to making a part-timer full-time would be, to me, a better fit. That's only me speaking out loud, so any other comments?
For me, I think hiring part-time is a lot less burden on the taxpayer because, I mean, benefits, from what I hear, is like almost an extra $5 an hour. And so what I have down here is, even if you hired two part-timers, you're still saving $15,000 a year. If you had two part-timers working 40 hours a week, just like a full-time. But that's are they even needed right now? A lot of times people come in and they're asking, oh, this mandate came down, we need full-time, we need this, but you don't know for sure. And I'm just saying that maybe what we ought to start doing is starting off, if we have to hire anybody with a part-timer, and if it ever needs to be full-time, go to full-time, but we don't even have funding really for it. But just, it's a lot, like me with the commissioners, I can have a full-time and get this amount of work, or I can have two part-timers and I can get a lot more work. And they don't get paid sick, they don't get paid vacations and stuff, so they're like always there. So there's always someone in the office if you have part-timers. I just think it's cheaper on the taxpayer to go part-time, if anything.
So you got three opinions, Mitchell?
Well, I agree with Ms.
If I can say something, it's been weeks, just a few weeks ago, that we found this was going to happen. So daily, I've been looking into it. Part-times, ladies and gentlemen, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. You already have a judge who's been doing this for years. And she already said last meeting that we had that a part-timer is not going to work. You have a judge who's been dealing with this for most of this last couple of years as a truancy judge. And you heard her saying that it requires a full-time job. So I don't know where this information is coming from, but I honestly, from a judge's perspective also, it's a full-time. A part-time is not going to help our issue here. I've looked at it day after day, and I pulled my hair on this one here, and a part-time is not going to work. We need a full-time position who specializes in this issue here. Truancy is not an easy task. It's a lot of work, and a part-timer is not going to cut it.
Counter your statement there, Judge.
Mm-hmm.
She's been doing the work with one part-timer, and she's been covering Alice and Orange Grove.
100%.
So to say that we need a full-timer right now, I think we might be overreacting. We can always promote somebody to full-time if that's the case. But to say we need a full-timer today, I think it would be as overreacting, actually.
I've looked at it, Commissioner Ventura, and I've spoken to the judge, and this is we're going to run into an issue. Okay, this is dealing with our children from our community, right? And we don't want to fail in this issue here, So I'm asking very kindly. We do need a full timer. I do not need a part timer. It's a lot of work, and it's like a faucet. There's just a few cases coming in right now because judge is retiring. But once she retires, they're going to come in a volume, and I don't have the personnel, and a part timer's not going to cut it.
Anyway, Commissioner Gonzalez.
I'm in the same page with you guys. Back in the budget time, we denied a whole bunch of people that came in here with positions and requests for more money, more funding. We denied them. This is taxpayer dollars we're dealing with. And for us to amend the budget right now to try to get a position for a week and a half that we have left, I don't see it happening. Why we should do it right now? I can't. If it's been going on this long, like Mr. Garcia said, with the part-time, what are we doing? Why do we need to amend the budget to go get another position and put in a burden on the taxpayers for more funding?
I don't really see that precinct 5, if they're taking away 60%, would need 2 full-time and a part-time. Myself. I mean, they did it 100% truancy with 2 all them years. But now there's that extra part-timer.
We also have to understand that these duties are HJPs. So putting the burden on one JP, I don't think it's fair. It needs to go back to every individual JP that has a position. Instead of everybody, even though Alice is a lot much bigger, I mean, if we have to split it up between the other JPs, we'll do that. But I just don't understand how we can put all the burden on one JP. And when it's their duty to do the.
That's
truancy.
basically what's going on right now, you know, and
That's why it's creating this problem, because they're throwing everything at you when it should be split. If the Orange Grove people, they should have their own, Fremont should have their own, Bembo should.
That's
have
what
their
they
own.
are
And-
doing. That's what they are doing.
Yeah. that
He's
is how
only
it's
getting
going.
the
We're not
Alice.
giving them all of them. We're just giving them.
but
Alice.
majority, the,
Majority is Alice.
Yeah,
The-
you're gonna
office that-
get 50 less truancy cases, Richard, because I think Orange Grove is gonna keep like 30 of them. You're gonna end up with less than 200. To say that you need a full-time position today, I really don't agree with it.
And if
Commission-
we,
it's not exactly only for this
We
this
have it.
next weeks. It's having to do with the future. It's having to do with the new year coming, which is just about 2 weeks away, 3 weeks away, you know, and they're going to start coming in, and what are we going to do then? I don't have the personnel to carry that load. That's why I'm here before you today.
Like for this, your question, Commissioner, was how many times? This week, for example, we had truancy scheduled Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We have 3 dockets this week. Those would have to be moved though, because Judge Bice had a personal issue. So we're moving those to next week. But yeah, no, as far as how often we meet quite frequently. Yeah, it's more than we meet on the criminal docket.
and if we're moving the majority of the cases to Alice, we can't move that one full-time position to Alice.
No, she has a part-timer over there.
She has 2 full and 1 part, she
Yeah, but the
said.
part-timer's for truancy. And then she was doing all of the
But
200
the
cases.
full-timer was the one actually doing the
It
truancy.
was a full-time doing the
Okay, so where'd the part-timer come from?
I guess just to
help.
have some relief on maybe some of the other non-truancy stuff. I don't know. I don't remember when that happened. Maybe y'all do.
I think we added a part-timer for truancy. That's what I
Right,
think.
but the full-timer was the one actually doing it.
Yeah, well, she was actually doing it, but it was the part-timer's the one that was hired for truancy.
What were you saying, Cindy?
Yes, that, what Mr. Garcia is saying is correct. I believe it was in 2020,
Yeah.
2019, Ms. Judge Weiss came and asked for the additional help for just specifically for truancy. It went through budget workshops, and that was the presentation that Judge Weiss gave. So, without further, I guess, case load, I guess, because she
Now, about comparison about workload, JP1 office, our workload is tremendous, and we don't get consistent.
All respect, Judge, the workload's gonna be the same.
But she did them all.
It's gonna be the same because you're
put them
gonna
all over there,
lose
right?
50 cases.
So.
So that's our argument.
she
You're
was
gonna
doing
have
them all
50
over there.
less cases in Alice.
But we were told by the school district, correct me if I'm wrong, Michael, I believe that they said we're going to have a couple of hundred coming in because they have not been filed or they're about to be filed.
Yeah, and they're gonna be filed probably for the second semester, where in the first semester will come in probably in September sometime, but they usually file like 100, like this is not very uncommon. This is when they file. And then you're gonna get a few during the second semester here and there, but the bulk of it is filed like this from the past semester. They're always working like behind. Anyway, we got 3 different opinions. I think making one of your part-timers full-time would be my suggestion. And Margie wants to hire a full-timer.
Well, I'm just saying that the numbers were there, but if they're gonna move all those cases from Orange Grove, couldn't we move one of the full-time?
You're not
positions?
moving all of
No,
them.
but they're gonna leave them over there.
60%.
She's gonna keep like 50 truancy cases. So she needs the part-time.
60% of the cases are coming this way.
No, there's only 17 cases coming over right now. I filed that motion last week. That's the number of active cases that Judge Bai still had on her docket. But remember, she gave them her own cutoff date of October 31st. So would there have been more? Certainly. There would have been some more after October 31st, but she didn't accept them because she didn't want to leave an overloaded docket, for whatever reason.
So
They're
you,
sitting there at the school district waiting to be filed. What that number is, we don't know. It's like Richard said, once we open the faucet, we don't know how many are gonna come in. Right now, it's
right now it's 17 cases in Alice, bottom line. You might get another 50, 100, we do not know. So I think we're overreacting, to be honest with you. But I'm just an opinion, before it's our job as commissioners to make sure that the funding's there for you. But it's also, we cannot overreact and give you more than you need. I don't know if I make sense to you, Richard, but I mean, as a commissioner, that's the way I feel. We cannot overreact by amending a budget that we might not need. So anyway, that's my opinion, but I wish we had I know the first of the year we get a judge in that might have a different opinion. We do not know. We're gonna have 3 new JPs. They have to go to training for a month or so, whatever they have. And then we have 2 JPs that don't have any experience in truancy. So it'll be a month or so into the year before we even do truancy. I think, that's just an opinion, right? It might be 2 months, might be half a month, I don't know. But I know that you've never done truancy, Richard, and Judge Johnson hasn't either. So it's gonna be a training process, and I think we're just overreacting to the funding of a part-time or a full-time employee. But that's just, like I say, it's just my opinion, and I was placed as a commissioner to make sure that budgeting is one of our priorities, make sure that we don't overreact and throw money into a problem that might not exist.
Our office is experiencing a future major load coming in. I just thought I would let you all know. The Alice Independent School District there's no comparison with the smaller school districts. I mean, we have a lot more truancies coming in, and unexpectedly our office we're just trying to prepare for those cases to come in, so.
I venture to say you're not gonna have more than 150 cases. That's an opinion that you have an opinion and I have an opinion. And I'm basing my opinion on the past truancy cases. And 150 is, it's a lot of cases, but it's very doable with a little bit of additional help. I don't think full-time. I think we're gonna be certainly overreacting. And I don't mean it in a bad way, Judge. I just trying to you're trying to do your job and I'm trying to do mine. And I think we can, at some point, we can always go up. Certainly, I don't want to go down and take your funding away. I don't know if I make sense to anybody, but to myself, I make sense.
No, I understand.
Yeah. Can I just
You want to
rescind my
make a motion
motion?
Yeah,
to table it or?
I'm
deny
rescinding
it?
my motion.
I think that, we got one more meeting.
The schools they get out Friday. So if we get any new filings this week at the second meeting of the month, we can bring you those numbers
Okay,
and let you know
Yeah,
how many they
where-
filed. Because after today's meeting, we told them we'd get back with them and we're gonna give them the green light to, okay, bring us what you've got. And then at the second meeting of the month, we can bring you those numbers.
so it makes better sense look at the numbers, Judge, you know, I hate to speak against, against you. I just feel that it's important that we get a good feel for where we're going, you know, and that's just an opinion, and I hate to overreact. That's my main thing. So I make a motion to table, actually.
I'll second it.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay. Line item number 10, discuss, consider, take action on request by Constable Precinct 1, additional staff to assist with truancy.
Please don't table it before I allow me to speak. If it's already been worked out by the county attorney that we could get somebody on contract, I mean, I know that you're not hearing this, but I'm gonna put it out there. We're hearing numbers of 202 for Alice, 505 today. So I will need the help to be able to serve those, because I already carry a workload and I'm already doing my work every single day, and I'll continue to do it. I'm not saying I'm not gonna do it, but I do need some help. If we could get some help the way Michael suggested, I would really appreciate it. And that's all I'm asking for. It wouldn't have to be additional help from me. It could go through the judge and just on a contract basis whenever, because whenever he has, 40, 50 summons to serve, plus if they want the parent served, that doubles to 100 for those 50. Or whatever it's going to be. If we could have the funds, my understanding are already there for the contract work. If you all would work with me and help me in that manner, it would be awesome. It would be awesome. It would be great, if you all would consider that.
So Martinez, I got a question for you.
So let's table this, Judge, Constable, and the way we can do it all at the same time.
Okay, you want to do it all at the same time?
Yeah.
I have a question, Mr. Garcia. Being that Luz Pai said that it does not have to be, letters do not have to be sent out by a registered deputy, right? They can be registered mail.
The parent cases can be served by registered mail, yes.
Yes.
The problem with that is sometimes the addresses aren't good anymore because the parents don't update them. And remember who we're
Yes.
dealing with here.
Yes, I agree with you. I'm aware of
Send
that.
their kids to school. Oh, the other thing is the parents won't sign for it. And so then you get the return green card saying undeliverable. Now we've got to take that and give it to somebody to go actually physically serve them.
And then the other question is, you have reserves, right? Do you have a reserve?
I have reserves.
Reserve also, right?
Mr. Gonzalez, I'm going to address that. I have 2 certified reserves that I utilize already to serve what we have. And I'm saying that they're free. I don't make the time, hey, you're going to be here this day or this particular time. They don't work for me. Yes, they do. They do reserve time, and they're active reserves, and I intend to utilize them. But the workload that's coming, that I'm hearing the numbers, when I'm already committed myself, you all heard me come before, you all say, I'm going to work 2 days on the highway. I'm not using it as an excuse. I'm saying I'm working 5 days a week, and even the weekends. I was out last night. I'm not shying away from my job and my responsibilities, but I'm coming to you all and explaining to you all that I need the help for that. Let's say my reserves can't come in because something happened to them. They're just not paid reserves. Don't come in that month. I don't have them. Like this month, they're not coming in December or January. So I'm just saying, please, that's just contract work. Y'all want to turn it over to the judge to hire additional staff in that way, that's fine. But I'm just saying, don't send them all my way, because I'm already telling you that I'm already carrying a full load and the numbers are there and I'm working the road. And if you want to table it for next time, that's fine. But I do need the help. I really want y'all to consider that,
You've been
please.
serving the Ellis truancy, right?
Yes, and I didn't mind serving them. I've been serving them since 2019. The only thing is that now my judge is going to be in charge of them. So I don't know how many more cases he's going to have. And that's why
We're
I
putting too
came.
much emphasis on how many more cases we're gonna have. I assure you, there's not gonna be a significant change. History repeats itself. You're gonna land almost exactly what happened last year. We're overreacting to the unexpected. Now we're gonna, there's a convoy coming across the border, those kind of you know, you can't, react. We need to see the numbers before we pull the trigger, actually.
Yes, I understand, sir, but I'm not overreacting. It's the numbers that I'm getting as of Thursday's meeting from the school district was 505 for Alice. So I'm going by, based on their numbers. So they are coming, so I just want to be just prepared. I mean, hey, if they're just the small numbers that are there, I've been doing them. I was told I had to do them, and
wait
I've been
to see
doing
if
them,
maybe
but if
they
they
are
increase,
smaller.
I wish they were smaller, but they've been told to, they were told to slow down in filing the cases, is my understanding. So now to throttle back. So now they're going to open it up. And I just want to make sure that we're prepared, just like anything else. When you're going to do something, you want to be prepared. And I just want the Commissioner's Court to be prepared and to know my position. That's it.
It's funny how they can throttle back and hold them back and do all those things.
Right.
And then overload it.
No, they shouldn't have done that. We
It's just,
didn't find out
it's
about it.
amazing what they can do, huh?
Yeah, we didn't find out till it had already been done.
Right off the bat, you're gonna have 50 less cases from
Yeah.
Orange Grove, you know, right?
But there's 505 cases they're holding back right now? 505, not
Because
202?
he said 100.
No,
I said they could easily get to over 100. What the true number is.
500 is,
Five-
I don't know if you're overreacting.
no, that was from their meeting that they
Okay.
came.
Okay, let's just
Thank you.
table it for the next
Thank
meeting.
you all.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez.
You can get,
I'll make a motion to table item number 9 is presented.
okay,
Second.
10.
yeah,
10, I'm sorry.
motion to table line item number 10. Okay,
second.
your second?
Renee seconded.
Okay, there's a motion, a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Line item number 11, presentation from Trunkline Gas and Energy Transfer Company, Texas Energy LLC regarding a maintenance project off of County Road 404 in Jim Wells County.
Yes, we're gonna have,
Ma'am, Can you,
our
can you present, give us your name? for the record?
Elizabeth Naren.
Elizabeth,
Thank you.
Yes, we're going to have our guys do some maintenance on the pipeline. It's gonna be in the ditch on either side of the road. They're expected to be there maybe 5 days, so traffic, it shouldn't close the road, but they need to be cautious that there's like a hydrovac. A couple, F-150s will be on the side of the road. And then I do have a traffic control plan in the event they do need to shut the road down, but there also is no damage expected to the road.
Michael, I had just requested for them to come in for the record, so I can, in case they would have to close the road, but they're not gonna cross the road or anything, it's gonna be on the sides. But in case they would have to close the road, they were already prepared for it, they had a game plan.
Right.
So it's just for the record, just to
Right.
make a presentation. And it was just a presentation, so thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
that's it.
Thank you.
Okay, line item number 12, discuss, consider, take action authorizing Sunrise Vending to place chip and snack vending machines in Jim Wells County.
Commissioners, I heard from several people that work here at the courthouse, we don't have a vending machine anymore, so we reached out to Sunrise Vending about a soda machine and a snack machine, and they could place the snack machine in here, no cost to the county. They could not do a soda machine, they can't get it in through the doors. At least the ones that they have in their inventory. He said he could look for a smaller one that might fit. And besides Mr. Barrera, from Anna's Kitchen, they still own this one that's here, and he tells us that he plans on repairing this soda machine. So that's kind of where we're at on that, but we're just asking for permission to put a snack machine in the hallway here. And as I said, it's no cost to the county other than supplying the electrical outlet, and just so that our employees and the public can have something to snack on if they need to.
So do we need to bring Mr. Barrera's machine to Commissioner's Court at some point, or?
That one has been there for years.
Okay,
so
he
I
can just
think
fix it and keep on
I
doing it?
think that was Norma's at one point, and then she sold it to Anna
Yeah.
and her
But
husband.
then they
It's
left,
just
you know, so.
broken, it just broke.
Yeah,
Well,
okay.
they left
The machine there,
piece,
okay.
but the machine's still there and it's not.
So there's no problem just leaving it there and repairing
Yeah,
it,
and
okay.
hopefully he can get it repaired,
Okay.
or Sunrise can find a soda
Okay.
machine that'll fit through the doors.
No commission?
No, well, they asked about that. And we said, since most of the people buying are our own people, you know, our own employees, he said, we can add a commission if you want it, or we can keep the prices lower. And, so I thought, you know, it'd be better just to keep the prices low as
Yeah,
possible.
that'd probably be better for the auditors also, just to give a reasonable price, that would be better.
So we didn't ask for a commission.
Okay, is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve.
A second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Line item number 13, discuss, consider, take action, authorizing TxDOT to proceed with the repairs project on bridge located on County Road 308. This is in my precinct. They're all they need is an okay so they can proceed, start the process. It's gonna take approximately 2 or 3 years before they approve it. We'll be doing some in-kind work at no cost to the county.
I make a motion.
308 north, 308
Yeah.
south. That little one.
308's the one that off of 624 south,
Yeah.
right there.
Oh, south?
Yeah, that would, it broke one time and then,
And they
it's
repaired
really a very flimsy, so it's.
What about that one north? It's really awful.
Well, this is the one they approved.
The way it
I
works,
had- we had-
they
It's a
audit the
bridge
bridges
grant.
every 2 years, an odd number of years. They'll inspect them, and then if what qualifies for
We don't tell,
reconstruction, they'll send you a
we
letter.
can suggest it, but they usually tell us because they inspect
They're
them.
the ones
too,
that
so
inspect them.
This is the one that has the most need, I think. That's where they're at.
So I made a motion to approve.
I'll second.
There's a motion, a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Line item 14, discuss, consider, take action upon putting a ban on fireworks.
This is a special rule that applies during the fireworks seasons, and we have to make a decision by the 14th. I think Mr. Acuña's on, and he was gonna say that we're okay on the index, and we don't need this based on the recent rains we've got.
Yeah.
Are you on there, Mr. Acuña?
Yes, sir. Good morning, Michael, and good morning, commissioners. So yeah, Michael and I discussed this. We just wanted to put it on here just so if in the event after discussion, y'all'd like to place the ban, we have sufficient time and that way it's enacted. But with recent rains, the county is about 93% with no drought. Only the extreme southern parts and Mr. Weichel's territory down in Fremont, we have a little bit of some dryness that's going on down there, but still over 90% of the county is absolutely drought free. There's plenty of water in the grounds at this point. Maybe the top might be some of the fuels, the grasses might be getting dry. But overall, the U.S. drought monitor is at 0. I mean, there's completely no drought across the area at this point. So as far as my office, we wouldn't be able to recommend, but after discussion with y'all, if y'all want to place a firework ban, that's among discussion for y'all. But as far as drought is concerned, there is none at this point.
Motion? Motion to leave it as is? Motion?
Just to table,
No, I make a motion to table
or to take no action.
No
Okay,
action.
no action on
on number 14.
there's no action.
A second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, motion passes. Okay, the moment of truth, Commissioner.
Dish it out.
Discuss, consider, take action to authorize Commissioner Renee Kershaw Chapa to open seal bids on seal coating project on County Road 3081 and County Road 339 in precinct number 3. Okay. Let me go ahead and, I need some help. You got a bunch of them.
Good.
You wanna help me, you wanna open some of them and then I'll open one and we'll proceed from there. Okay. I got the first one. It's from, this one's from Tom Oaks. Okay, I think they're from Alice, yeah. Okay. Okay, this is all single code, right?
Yes.
Okay. It's at $9 a square yard.
And this one is from
Yeah,
JCL.
let me read the numbers. It's $219,114. Tom Oaks,
That's for both roads?
Tom Oaks,
That's for both roads?
Construction.
County Road 339 and County Road 3081. This one is from JCL. JCL L4 Construction LLC. And his is $745 a unit price, and the total is $142,041.70.
You writing that, Nora? You writing?
Renee has one.
Okay, I got one.
What was the company name again?
JCL. JCL L4 Construction LLC.
Mine is Tex Mix Paving. And theirs is, one was 867 and one of them is 506.
What's the difference? You're single code, no?
Yeah, they're all single.
Oh, okay. Huh, that's unusual. You know, but the total is 142,251.56. Huh, that's, I'm telling you, that lower one sounds a lot better than the top. This one goes here,
That one's this one.
okay.
And I have
This
a
one says
carrot.
Grand Works, they bid on something, or is it-
That sounds like something else. That
It
sounds
must
like
be
an
something else,
RFP.
cause it's got, Grand Works, they're not in the construction business, huh?
No. Probably another RFP or something that's waiting for bids. Remember the, no?
Oh, it's line item 16. Okay, let me see what line item 16 is gonna be. Okay, that's take action.
Oh, the
resolution.
home.
Okay, I think it says agenda 16, so it's something else.
I have this one from Garrett.
From Garrett, okay, they're coming back. He's got the same thing, two different ones. Yeah, I guess it's because of the, okay, it's, this one here makes more
probably because of the
sense,
square yards.
$79,695.88.
Yes.
This is from Garrett, Garrett Construction. This
What was it again,
is
the price?
not a bad bid here.
How much is the unit price?
572 and 418.
I think even two.
Why the difference? I don't know.
I think it's the square yards.
Here's another
They're,
one.
they're charging more for the smaller square yards.
Why do I have so many Garretts? That's just a copy.
They charge more for the small square yards. Gotcha.
But Garrett over here, they're pretty good.
That's a little small. Even half a mile.
You got-
So
You gotta
it's
read
hard
that
for them
one,
to
or-
charge this.
This one is $745, the unit, 142.
Yeah, it's a lot higher. You want to put it back in the,
Yeah, they do that. They turn on the fuse.
there you
Okay, this is just a copy.
go. Okay.
And this is Garrett. It's just a copy.
Oh, just a copy
the
for,
same
okay,
thing.
they probably had two,
They've done work for us,
oh, yeah,
Original one's a copy.
yeah, they did some work. They did pretty good too.
and they did good. He's done work for us.
Yeah, he did the airport road. We'll put both of them in here, Nora.
Okay.
So his unit price was for something?
Yeah, the unit price was,
Yeah, it was
572 and 40.
total 79.
Oh, 572 and 418, yeah.
okay, this one.
Oh my gosh.
Tom Oaks.
And then this one is,
Tom Oaks was
Yeah,
more
yeah, that
expensive.
was real high.
and then Tex-Mex was 142.
Okay,
So,
okay, this one was, Tex-Mex was, $142,251.56. Okay, Garrett's, seems to be the lowest price by a lot, actually.
we'll go with
So
Garrett.
you wanna go with Garrett?
Yes.
They've done work for me, they do good work.
We've done more for us.
So here, Nora, you're gonna have to take this and give, the commissioner copies at some point.
This is, what else are you gonna do?
Unless you want it.
I don't know, how many miles was it?
It's right at 3 miles.
3 miles. Yeah, I think if we would've added another 15 miles, would have been a lot lower price. Like,
next
I
year.
wanna try to do at least 10, 15 miles next year.
Me
And
too.
if you do 10, get maybe 25 miles and maybe get a lot better, price. Margie, you can also do some. I mean, I'm gonna invite everybody, because I think, the more we do, the cheaper the price. Anyway, line item number, okay, is there some motion to accept Garrett?
Yes, make a motion to accept Garrett
second the
Construction.
motion.
There's a motion and a second, all in favor, indicate you're saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
So how
Ayes
many
have
miles
it.
are gonna be?
3.
3 miles of seal coat, single
3
face,
miles equal.
single coat?
Single coat, 79,000.
Good deal.
Mhm.
It's about 25,000 a mile, it's not too bad. Anyway, motion passes. Line item 16, you want to open this one? It's for that,
Take action.
discuss,
Yeah, we did the same
consider take action on resolution to award administration and management of the house project program.
So we only have one,
Yeah, that's the only one that I
which
see,
is Grant Works.
is Grand Works, so I don't know what their prices is. I have to carry a knife.
There's one for you.
Almost. Is this something that has a price to it, or,
Actually, we need to score it.
okay, so,
Well,
it's gonna go under the.
Hi,
Yeah, go ahead, ma'am.
hi,
One.
I'm Donna Johnson. I'm with Grant Works. There is a prize. It's several pages back. But our fees are capped. All fees in this program are capped, and there is no cost to the county on those fees. They're paid for out of the grant. So, and you are correct, Margie. You do need to at least fill out one scoring sheet, since we were the only ones that applied, and I'm hoping and would ask the court to please award the work to us. We really like working with Jim Wells County and would like to continue to do that. So,
We shouldn't have opened it. We actually have to have a scoring team,
Yeah, because,
and we can't, even though they're the only one, but at this meeting, we can't award it yet because we have to score it first
you have to
and
get.
follow the process, even though they're the only one, but we have to do that first before we
Okay, who's in the committee to score it?
It's usually it's Nora, Yolanda, myself, uh, an employee from the city, and Linda.
Okay. Okay, we do have a committee. They do have a liability insurance certificate.
So
I guess that's all we need.
So, no, actually, there's a scoring sheet and you score it according, it'll ask for the liability and it gives you
Yeah,
some,
but
so
you
many
already- you already
points.
have it.
Right, yeah,
So, I guess you all get together and score it.
right. So we'll have to table it right
Okay,
now.
is there a motion to table?
I make a motion to table the item.
A second.
There's a motion to table. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
When did this come
All
in?
opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay, line item 17, discuss, consider, take actions to approve the American Rescue Plan Act for 2021 Coronavirus State and Local Physical Recovery Fund, sub-awarded agreement and monitoring policy. The purpose of this sub-award agreement and monitoring policy is to establish the terms and conditions of the sub-award allocated to the sub-recipients of Jim Wells County and to establish the terms and conditions for monitoring the expenditures subject to the provisions of the federal Uniform Grant Guidance 2 CFR Part 200 of the nonprofit sub-recipients from Jim Wells County.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
So I'm going to hand out two separate documents that I will be going over with you. We will not cover the entire document. Certain sections. Is the sub-award agreement that we will be entering into. There's four.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was gonna say, man, that's thick.
The second one is the actual policy that we're going to ask you to consider and adopt. So we'll discuss that the second, that will be our second document. So those documents that you have before you were part of the attachments on this agenda item. If this agreement, which is the sub-award agreement, we will discuss first. And then we will discuss Exhibit E, which is the actual policy on how we're going to monitor the sub-recipients or the nonprofits. So basically, it's a standard template. It's a sub-award agreement. I'm on page, I think yours should say 2441 because it's actually one full document, but I wanted to separate them. The purpose of the sub-award agreement is because the county serves as a pass-through. In other words, we received ARPA funds, and now we're going to pass those to the nonprofits. Therefore, we're going to be entering into an agreement with them. They will become our sub-recipients. And we must have an agreement between the county and the sub-recipients regarding the standards that will be followed in the agreement as well as the policy. So the purpose of this agreement is, of course, to establish the terms and the conditions that will be required of the sub-award as part of the allocations that they will be receiving. As you recall, Commissioners Court approved $600,000 with a maximum of $50,000 to be awarded to nonprofits. You did also approve a selection or awards committee that will review these. There will be standards, and we're going to cover some of those standards that the awards committee will be using in order to determine and make a recommendation to the Commissioners Court. So Article 2, Section 2.1 Says subrecipient shall perform all the activities described in the scope of activity. So we're going to identify what those activities are based on what their proposal is. So we'll enter that proposal into this agreement. Section 3.1, payment of funds. And I apologize, I didn't make enough copies. I just realized I didn't have. I will make some today, I promise. The payment of funds, the county agrees to reimburse the subrecipient for costs actually incurred and paid by the subrecipient based on their budget and their performance. And will enter a number that's awarded to them. It could be a maximum 50,000 or could be less. So that figure will go in there.
This is gonna be, they're gonna get reimbursed after they've spent the money?
No, we're going to cover that in a little bit, how that's going to be set up as far as reimbursement. It's based on what the uniform policy, the federal uniform policy guidelines requires that we assess each of the nonprofits in terms of their financial capacity to manage a grant. So what's going to happen is once we review the proposals that have come in, we will also have to assess, and I'm going to cover that in a little while, that determines how they're going to receive their funds. So it could be depending on their risk assessment. If they're a high risk, we definitely don't want to award that money up front, because for any reasons, if we go in there and we monitor them as far as the expenditures and we run into some problems and all that, they will have to pay that money back. So we don't want to get into that type of situation on a high risk. So the recommendations are here per the federal guidelines that we monitor them based on that risk assessment. So what will happen is if they're a low risk, then that would be someone who has been in, a nonprofit for several years, has proven capacity to manage finances in their day-to-day programs. They would receive the full upfront grant. If someone is moderate, we could do a 50-50, receive 50%, and then as we monitor them and see how they're going, we would then give them the other 50. So it's based on that risk assessment that is outlined in the federal procurement guidelines. Yes, sir.
When the 50,000 is given out at the beginning to somebody, do they have to give us a budget as to how they're going to spend it?
Yes.
Or we just give them the 50,000?
No,
Give us a budget, payroll.
Exactly. Yes.
Break it down.
Yes, there are some forms in here, in the policy. It has the budget. It's going to have a breakdown, salaries, personnel, everything. And we will, as part of this sub-award agreement, it spells out the budget details as well that we will follow. Let's see, anything else I might want to point out? We will require that they maintain some type of financial management system that relates to records and all transactions of the monies that they receive. So we will be looking at that as well. Page 26 of 41, section 4.4, financial and other reports. Subrecipients shall submit to the county reports and backup data as may be required by the federal government or county, including reports which enable the county to submit its own reports to the U.S. Department of Treasury. In other words, I then have to do a reporting to the U.S. Treasury of how these funds are being spent. And that is why we require these from the nonprofits. Section 4.7, the closeout, when it comes time to close out the contract or the agreement, between the nonprofit and the county. Final payment requests under this agreement must be received by the county no later than 30 days after the earlier of the expiration date or the last date of the agreement term. Again, this was a template that was set up and recommended by the U.S. Treasury, so we're simply plugging in some of our own terms and conditions. Page 27 of 41, compliance with the grant agreement and applicable laws. Those are all federal guidelines or standards, are also required by our local government statutes. Those are just federal forms and requirements there. Let's see, procurement requirements. They must also follow the procurement requirement regulations. So all procurement transactions for property or services shall be conducted in a manner providing full and open competition consistent with the standards outlined in 2 CFR 200-320. And it spells out in page 28 of 41, section section 5.4, all the types of procurement that they must follow. And also they need to follow our local procedure procurement standards that we have a policy that the county adopted, along with the state local government statute that deals with procurement. Let's see, we will review to make sure that those procurement policies are being followed. And of course, we will, we being myself, who will be the point of contact and the point person who will be assisting these subrecipients or nonprofits, I will be helping them, make sure that we are all following these guidelines and any other mandatory provisions that are required. I want to point out on page 29 of 41, section 5.6, property management. All real property acquired or improved and equipment or supplies purchased in whole or in part with ARPA funds must be used, insured, managed, and disposed of in accordance with 2 CFR 200-311 and 200-316. So here you notice that I put a note that we need to have more here about how we manage those properties that are purchased with federal funds and how they're going to vest, who retains ownership of them, and that we follow all local government approvals that are required. So for example,
That
yes,
was
sir.
gonna be my question on equipment,
Yes, sir.
property. Who holds the, on this nonprofit, or in this county, or? I did set up a fund for ARPA,
Yes, sir.
and I'm gonna put all of those in that fund.
For the
But
nonprofit.
they are retained by us, or ownership of those items, or not?
The nonprofit will retain ownership, but they must follow, and I will come back with a policy on how those terms are going, and conditions are spelled out. It's a policy regarding the purchase of property, or if you acquire property, or you manage property, or supplies. All of that will be spelled out in this next policy that will be coming at the next Commissioners Court meeting.
Because we have had some ARPAs that has been spent, and I've set a special fund for them.
Yes, sir.
But the nonprofits are not gonna be there.
No.
We're not gonna keep a record of them, but we just need to know specifically when a nonprofit comes in, so we don't tag them and put them in.
Yes, yeah, that's a good idea to keep, maybe, I don't know how y'all would set that up for nonprofits. The 600,000 will be a separate fund maybe, and that's how we'll track the
But they're not gonna
spending.
be ours.
But any purchases they make that that the Commissioners Court has approved that they can purchase, that will be theirs, but they must follow, how long they keep them, if they're gonna sell them. All of that will be spelled out in this policy that I will be bringing back. I just didn't want to over inundate you with all these forms and things. So, but there is an actual policy that spells out how you handle property purchases and supplies.
Because I think that most of the homes and grants and stuff like that, they can't do anything to the home for 5 years.
Right, yeah. It belongs to them after 5 years, but they
Government, yeah.
can't sell them or do anything to them. So the same way, if a nonprofit is approved to, for example, to purchase a
truck.
certain equipment that they need, if they want to provide, they need a machine to monitor the health of something, and they need to purchase that machine, and it's approved by the Commissioners Court as part of their funding, that will stay ownership with them, but there's certain guidelines and standards that they will have to follow, so, in involving the county. Let me see, I think, basically, page 31, I touched on this briefly. The type and degree of monitoring activities depends on the result of the risk assessment that they're going to receive, whether it's a low, moderate, or high risk. That's the type of monitoring that they're gonna receive. And the policy, I'll go into more details about what type of monitoring that is. Let's see, county's gonna provide oversight. I will be providing oversight to make sure that these funds are being spent as it's spelled out in their agreement and in their budget. The county will impose other interventions if we see that things are happening, the monies are not being spent where they're at, or they're very close to spending all the money and they haven't met their obligations. We can go in there and do different types of interventions, different levels. That was on page 32. And I believe that is basically everything else are attachments. Those attachments are basically on page 37, Exhibit B, we're going to spell out what those activities are. For example, if a nonprofit asks for funding because they're going to provide vouchers for 50 veterans to give them a gas voucher to go to their doctor, everything will be spelled out here. Page 38 has an approved budget where we will break it out on how those monies are. So you'll see that form in there. All of this is part of the agreement that will enter between the county and the nonprofit.
Excuse me, Ms. Brown.
Yes, sir.
Sorry.
I'm gonna give you this.
But do they have to make a presentation to spend this money correctly later on for the spending?
We can certainly ask
Or
them.
just, they have to just present it to you? Just to make sure it's a follow-up.
When we close out the grant, everything will be spelled out there.
All right.
The final audit, everything will be there. We're gonna cover that in the next policy. Very good questions, very good questions. So, any questions? This was the actual template on the agreement that we're gonna enter between the nonprofits and the county. Now, we're gonna cover a policy for the commissioners to consider adopting, and that's the monitoring of those expenditures. Now, try to go through that one. So you'll see up here the policy for sub-award and monitoring for expenditures. Draw your attention to, let's see, that they must, of course, follow the compliance and reporting guidance under ARPA federal regulations. Because we are entering into an agreement with them, then they will be subject to certain monitoring of the expenditures of those funds that you award them. So we first have to identify to the subrecipient that they're being awarded federal funds and that they have to comply with all these federal regulations, just like the county has to. They must also as a subrecipient. Second, we will need to evaluate them for risk of non-compliance. That's where I talked about low, high, and moderate risk. That's a requirement here. It's spelled out in the policy. So we have to evaluate them. And of course, we're going to monitor all the activities that they say they're going to do. We'll be monitoring them and the expenditures. Let's see, draw your attention to page 6. The Jim Wells County ARPA administrator and staff from county auditors will conduct the risk assessment, which will include consideration of the following factors: their prior experience in managing any subawards or grants that they have received, the results of previous audits, if one is required. Now, some nonprofits are too small. Some of them do not require that they have a single audit. So we'll identify who those are as well. Whether the subrecipient is adding new personnel or is changing their systems in midstream, those are kind of, we'll have to look at those things.
Excuse me, Ms.
Yes,
Brown,
sir.
I'm sorry to keep bothering you.
No.
But you said the auditor's office and you will do the assessment, or was there gonna be a group of people?
Those are the award committee will do the assessment on low, moderate, and risk, on the high
so they're
risk.
gonna do that.
Yeah, when we go in to do the actual monitoring of the expenditures, that's when we look and see if there's some problems.
Okay.
Yeah,
But it says here county auditor.
yes, but that's when they go back to address these issues 1 through 4.
Mhm.
And then over here, where a subrecipient monitoring, where it says low risk, moderate risk, and high risk, those are the categories. This is where the sub-award committee, we will take that into consideration when we do the ratings and the scoring. We need to determine, if they're going to fall within one of these categories. And I won't go through each one. You can tell, you can read in here what's those conditions are in order to assign that risk assessment. I do want to point out, though, under that section, it says if a proposed subrecipient is deemed high risk, the Jim County Administrator and the county auditor, we have to provide written justification in order for them to proceed with subaward. In other words, we're going to have to justify why we want to go ahead and still continue to recommend them for receiving funds. Have to have something documented. And then page 7, the county monitoring plan will be based on the overall subrecipient's risk assessment. This is on page 7, it sets out the standards that we're going to determine what type of monitoring they're going to get. So there's some standards here that will outline how often we're going to go out there and monitor them. We're going to be asking for reports from them, performance reports, so we'll know how they're coming along. I will be meeting with them to review the award and, how they're doing on their financial capacity. We might conduct on-site meetings just to go out there and see that things are coming along, that they're building something or they purchased something, we'll be following that as well. And we, of course, the county will intervene if we see, they haven't spent their monies, why not? Or they're getting pretty close to their budget and they haven't purchased what they was, that kind of thing. We'll intervene there. And we will draft the subaward agreement, have our county attorney review it before the signatures between the subrecipient and the county judge. And then the rest is just all, if you can go through all the rest of the pages, you'll see how we're going to be, everything's spelled out here. There's different forms that we'll be using to justify, their risk assessment. We have to justify it. It will be listed here. There's several questions that we go through when we ask them. There's a sub-award overview. This is what we'll use to overview whether or not how they're going to get a high or low moderate risk assessment, whether we're going to give them the 50-50 or the overall, we'll just give them the grant as full or a reimbursement. There's a standard that helps us determine. These are all forms that we're going to have that will be in their files so that when we get audited, we have all of this in place. I believe that's all that I wanted to. There's also a section here when we close it out, we go back through their books, their purchases, everything. There's a check mark box for everything that we have to go through, that they met their goals, their financial management, things like that. Again, this is part of a template that was recommended by the U.S. Treasury and in following the uniform guidelines. This all falls within those uniform guidelines. Any questions? I know it's a lot of information.
I have a question. All the counties, cities, and schools got ARPA funds, right?
The majority of them, yes, sir.
Okay. How many other counties would you think have done something like this, similar to, they would give to nonprofits and held community meetings to be able to help other entities?
Well, as far as community meetings, I don't have a number for you, but there were counties that did hold community participation meetings. And that's how they determined, you know, how they were going to use their ARPA funds. So there were counties. Cities, I don't know. Didn't follow cities too much, but there were some cities, for example, the city of New Braunfels, which I followed and looked at, and their grant application, they're also assisting nonprofits. I believe Claiborne County is assisting small businesses in the form of a grant for their facades. Can't think of some other counties that have done nonprofits, but as far as community participations, I don't have a number, but there were some counties that actually did do that. They did surveys. Some even did surveys online. Some even mailed them out. Some hired consultants to do surveys for them. Spent a lot of money to do things like that, so they did that. I'm not sure if that answers your question, Commissioner.
I just like to commend everybody involved, from you, the commissioners, and the judge, that what we did, I think, was we were very transparent with the communities and able to show the people how much money we had, opening it up for nonprofits, for anybody to apply and then get their ideas of what they wanted to do.
Yes, sir.
And didn't just go right away and spend all this money. I believe the word is invest, and we've invested in the right way.
Yeah.
And it's still, we still have most of the money now. So,
Yes.
you know, other people saw it and it was gone. So I commend everybody involved, commissioners, and like I said, the judge, and yourself, Ms. Moran, auditors, and everybody involved.
You know,
It's been
this
awesome.
has been a great team. We've all been the county auditors, the commissioners. We've all been working together. We've been staying on top of this. I know very early on, you all were very specific about creating a strategic framework on how we were going to get input. And then from that input, how you were going to set up, you know, the funding, from getting input from the departments. You funded your departments, from nonprofits, and then you set aside some reserves. So you all have been very strategic as to how you were going to spend your monies. Yes. I commend you all for that.
I can see where your work's gonna get real hard with your nonprofits.
It is, but I look forward to that.
Okay, I'm just saying that, like, Mr. Gomez was saying, you know, we're gonna have to justify, you know, competitive pricing, buy board pricing, a lot of the stuff, you know, that's, you know, it's gonna make your job difficult, but that's why you get paid the big bucks.
It's a challenge, and I accept that challenge, Commissioner, because it sets up a standard for future funding of subrecipients, or even, you know, on how we follow policies, that perhaps we can also interface with, as far as for our county policies and procedures as well. So it's all kind of a learning curve for us. This is new, but all these standards will be set up for the future.
Ms. Ryan,
Yes, sir.
the 15th of Thursday is the deadline, right?
The 14th.
14th,
The
Wednesday.
14th is the
So have you
deadline.
had a lot of nonprofits applying?
We have, I just received 2. Let's see. Would you all like some of the names, or just numbers?
No, just how many?
Okay,
Just a
so
number.
so far I have received 4, but I am aware of possibly another 10. We did have about 23 nonprofits that showed up at the workshop. So I anticipate there'll be more than 10 that we're thinking will be coming in. So,
That's a good
I
number.
guess they went through the process, they're gonna bring in numbers and prices and.
yes, sir, we asked for a budget in the application.
So where it makes your job a little easier.
What they're asking for. We asked for specifically the scope of activity that they were going to do. And I gave that example earlier, like they're going to serve 50 veterans at, you know, $25 gas cards. You know, they have to break down the budget. If they're asking, So there was a budget detail required in the application
And I'm
as
sure the
well.
details are gonna change once you review.
Yes, once we review them,
But the
and then the
number-
recommendation from the county
The
commissioners,
numbers don't change, just the,
the amount might change, so they'll have to redo. So if they're not awarded the full maximum award, we have to go back to the
they're
table.
gonna have to come, that's what I'm
Yes,
saying.
yes, sir. We'll have to come back to the table with them before the final agreement is signed between the parties. We'll have to come back and,
You might have to delete some stuff.
yes. So I know, and I will mention a couple of things I want to mention. I know you all were anxious to try to award these by the 31st, but as you can tell, because we have to do risk assessments, I'm having to review these to determine, and then I have to meet and work around the schedules of the the awards committee on their schedules. And then we've got the holiday coming up. This may not be something we can do by the end of the
Yeah, but.
awarding them, because we've only got
but
one
the
more meeting.
deadline's on the 14th, so.
We start reviewing them.
Everything after that, you know, you
Yeah.
can extend it to whatever.
Yeah, we'll start review. I just wanted to point out to y'all, I know y'all
Just the
want it.
Deadline of the 14th.
Yeah,
We do
that's,
not want to change, otherwise.
that's
you're
not
gonna have
changing. Yes, sir.
People straggling in.
It's just, I know we won't be ready to come back at the next meeting with recommendations because
Right.
there's more work to be done.
Right.
The other thing is, I know there was a question as to whether or not the 501c6 could apply. I did receive a written response from NACO, the National Association of Counties, as well as I spoke to the legal department from Texas Association of Counties, and it was the same response. While they're not mentioned in the guidelines, the nonprofits 501c6 can apply. But we have to look at what it is that they're going to be asking funding for. And they do not recommend that we fund things like fixing up buildings or things like that. They want any more of a proposal or an activity that they're going to do that's new or something different that's going to help in the community as far as that. And that's for all the nonprofits. You want to look at things
What
like
is the
that.
difference between a C6 and a 501c?
The 501c3, as I understand it, is more charity work, whereas the 501c6 is more for-profit. In fact, that's probably a little bit basic. It's probably more of a legal question, but that's how I understand what they do more. They can,
I thought the one was for like your
like your chambers.
Chamber of Commerce and all that.
Those
They-
are a
they do work, But they
501c6.
do work for
Yeah,
businesses that.
yeah,
bring
and
in-
for businesses.
Instead of
exactly.
individuals.
Yes, sir. Whereas the 501c3 is more what they call the charity work. So I wanted to bring that out as well. One of the things also that's in here is that we do not consider any proposals where the work has already been done and we cannot reimburse them for work that's already been done. In other words, these proposals have to come in new. They're not being asked to pay for some work that's already been done.
I just want to say that to those out there that meet the deadline, because the 14th is a deadline.
Yes, sir.
We don't want to come back on the 15th, you know.
There's no extension.
So,
Yeah, no, it's very specific in
yeah,
the
so
grant
make sure that,
application.
if you're out there and you haven't submitted one, be sure and do so if that's your intent.
And I'll be sending out an
You wanna
email
put
to
that for
them
the
as a
records?
reminder on those that signed up and gave me their emails. I'll send them a reminder today on that. But yeah, it was very specific on the application, that no exceptions on the deadline.
Okey dokey, well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Good luck with the nonprofits.
Okay, yeah.
So we need to, I make a motion to accept the sub-award agreement and monitoring policy.
I'll second it.
There's a motion and a second, all in favor, indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion passes. Item 18, discuss, consider, take action on payrolls and bills as submitted by the county auditor with the exception of funds 52, 53, and 54.
I make a motion to approve.
A second.
There's a second?
Yes. yes,
There's
your
a,
name.
a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
There's a motion to adjourn. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, the meeting's adjourned.